Hi, my kings and queens. Welcome back once again to another interesting, intriguing, and most importantly for today, very expository and entertaining episode, guys. We have a special guest, and bravo, yay! This is the first time on this channel. I'm definitely going to be hosting a special guest of honor. Someone guess in the comment section whom. No, I know. You already seen by the title, but ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another interesting episode right here on the Stable of Life of an African Woman. And if you are yet to destroy the like button, kindly do so because it's about to get juicy, interesting, and entertaining. And for today's episode, I have a special guest of honor in no other person than my mom, my biological mom from Nigeria. Like, I'm a Nigerian and it's a Nigerian mom. For those who might be wondering, is she from Nigeria? We are from Nigeria by origin, by birth, as the case may be. So we've got a lot of interesting things or topics to talk about, especially between Nigeria and South Africa. So this is really a bump into kind of video because she wasn't really prepared. So let's see how she's definitely going to do. But wait, before we delve into all that, let me introduce her officially to you. So come. So ladies and gentlemen, officially meet my mom. My biological mom, the mother of 8 children and approximately almost 15 grandchildren. Am I mistaken? 52, almost 20 grandchildren. I can't really number it, right? And I am the 6th child, in case you don't know, backstory, amongst the 8 children. So she's here on my channel to really tell us her own opinion, input about some interesting, some very educative information based on the topic we're about to talk about, which is the Nigerian government and the South African government and their citizens, like the character, the behavior, the attitude of Nigerians in Nigeria and Nigerians in diaspora, and maybe any other thing she knows about South Africa she can tell us, because she's of age and she should know history by now, right? A lot of things about South Africa, of course she should. And in case you don't know, first of all, let me just allow her to tell you officially who she is.
You're all welcome to this channel. Just as usual, she has told you the background story of the woman and the lady sitting before you. I'm her biological mother, and she's the 6th child out of 8 children. We give God the glory for life and for the gift that God has endowed in her to bring this channel to the limelight. For people like you to benefit and know, especially those people who don't know the history, some of the histories of Nigeria and the other countries in Africa. We thank God. Be blessed.
All right, Mom, what is your name? Like your first and second name. What are your names? Let them know.
My name is Dr. Mrs. Victoria Ugoji O.
All right.
And she has taken after my first name, Victoria.
Wow. All right, guys, straight up, because we don't want this video to be too lengthy and she's out and about, I just borrowed few of her time. At this point, please give grandma, I call her grandma because she's a grandma to so many grandchildren, so give grandma a thumbs up at this point. I want to ask her, grandma, can you just give us, like, in summary, in brief, what you think and know about South Africans? How do you see South Africans? Because on this channel, my host countries, majority of them are South Africans. Let me tell you, prior before now, the mindset, the narrative and opinion most Nigerians, of course we are Nigerians, have about South Africa and maybe some other African countries actually tend to be quite different from what I came to realize. Because in creating content around South Africa, I began to learn a lot about them. I noticed a lot of difference, vast difference about the citizens' character, behavior. I noticed a lot of struggles and challenges that they go through. Of course, no country is without challenges. And in the quest of how Nigerians flock into South Africa and so many other countries around the world, I discovered a lot as well that most Nigerians, not all, do perpetrate there, do commit there, as we have already known in Ghana and some other neighboring countries. But to my greatest surprise, I realized that Nigeria as well take these things down to South Africa, and knowing that South Africa is like a mother country that, you know, harbors a lot of countries, different countries. That's why officially they call them the rainbow country. It now seems as though most African countries, especially Nigeria, takes advantage of that to the point that Nigerians take this crime they commit here that we know to that place, making these people uncomfortable and making life unbearable for them. And when they react, they once tag them back in the years xenophobic, right? As a result of having, overburdened a lot of these things. Of course, they had to react, so which led to that incident we recorded years back. And that is what most average Nigerians who are ignorant about South Africa have as a notion about them. But without finding the cross of the matter, what led to what? Because I originally know that if there is a crisis or a problem or challenge, something must have led to that. For every reaction, there should be actions, right? And maybe, I don't know if you, in the same vein, still understand things that way, but I am just giving you a back story of my own current knowledge, perception, and understanding about South Africa, because in my course of creating content around African countries, particularly South Africans, the love that these people have shown me through character, through comments, through learning, through, it's a lot, it's massive. I would never have believed that in behind the mask that South Africans have been worn, they have this majority of them as loving, caring, humble, peaceful, tolerant people. I'm not over exaggerating. I'm telling you what I have come to research about these people. So I'm not telling you to buy my opinion, right? But I just want you as well, sincerely and honestly, because on here we are honest with our opinions, our reactions, and our review, right? What is it? Because I know you should know of Nelson Mandela. Back in the years when Nigeria fought for independence, you were there. You
The
knew,
struggle for independence.
yes, you should know a lot. So that's why I decided to tell you this, so that you tell us or tell my audience what you know about South Africa. And at the end of the day, you will also come back and tell us or give us your words of advice and encouragement to them and also to Nigeria. What do you think about South Africa and Nigeria? Because you know Nigerians. You are a Nigerian. As an elderly, you have experienced Nigeria. Even till date, you know what is happening in the country. So just as the Spirit will lead, tell us. I will be all ears. So guys, listen.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Although I was taken unaware
Yeah.
for this program.
Yeah.
But notwithstanding, with the knowledge I have concerning the countries in question, is that every challenge, right from the home, even the nucleus families, the challenges we have revolves around economy. Any family without a stable economy, any country without a stable economy and leadership quality will be bound to have crisis. No matter the age you have spent after your independence, you are not even independent already. You are still being colonized economically, religiously, and all round, because you don't have a stable economy and good leadership. So the citizenry will develop with that mindset. The children that will come after the leaders will also emulate, copy, and display what they have learned from their predecessors. So that of Nigeria, let me start with my own country.
Yeah.
It's not a surprise to me, because since after independence, we have not had a good and a stable leadership. We have not had a good and a dependable economy. What am I saying? A country that does not have the interests of the youths, interest in the area of education, interest in the area of development, all-round development of the youths, will be bound to have big and unending crises. Because before these children were born, the leaders in position should have made a futuristic plans that these children, these youths, will come and inherit. For many years, I'm talking with experience as a teacher, retired principal, there had been consistent crisis in our educational system. The educational system was totally abandoned and neglected, in such a way that the teachers, the lecturers were always in constant strike, abandoning these children to roam about. What do you expect? And after the strike, the students, the pupils are called back to school. It becomes a garbage in and a garbage out. And these children have been on the street playing, gambling, learning all sorts of vices that would have helped to mold their characters to stand the problems and challenges of their future. But this was totally neglected by our leaders.
So in a nutshell, we've not had a dependable
We have not had a dependable leadership.
governance.
We don't have a good governance in Nigeria.
That is
It has been a recurring decimal, a recurring issue.
okay. Now, that is to say, is it after the independence? Was there a time after the independence of Nigeria that Nigeria had a dependable governance, prior before my own existence? Or you're saying in a nutshell, since after the independence, Nigeria has been this way?
We have not had a correct and dependable leadership. And that led us into the civil war we had for 3 years.
Okay, the civil war we had for 3 years.
Yes, starting from 1966, 67, escalated up to 1970 when the war ended.
Now, sorry to come in. Would you say it's an inborn thing in the bloodstream of Nigeria as related to corruption? Because all these things we are saying now boils down to what?
Corruption
and criminality.
That is exactly where I want to land.
Okay, now go on.
Before this, although I didn't know much before the Civil War, because
Okay.
I was a little girl.
Okay.
So after the Civil War, this corruption that has eaten very deep.
So guys, we we had the unexpected happen, which was the usual electricity power failure in Nigeria. But it is what it is. When I tell you guys the electricity in Nigeria is unpredictable, like unstable. You actually think
And
it's what- epileptic, right? But we just had to change our position outside to film outside, and this is where we are at. So she was saying something, and
Yeah.
let's continue.
I was saying that we didn't have, or we've not had, good leadership
And you said it's as a result of corruption
as a result of corruption.
and criminality.
Criminality is embedded in that corruption.
Okay.
Corruption in the fact that Nigeria is so blessed with natural resources, but these natural resources are not managed for the interests of the common citizens in Nigeria.
Okay.
It has been, Nigeria is blessed with human resources, natural resources. We don't have these natural disasters in Nigeria, except for the fact of few years now that they have allowed themselves to go into opening of what do you call it? Dams.
Okay, damn.
To cause unpredictable flood in Nigeria that can devastate the people,
Okay.
all based on corruption.
Okay.
And the corruption has also escalated to the point that our security outfit is not taken care of. Domestic economy is not taken care of. People are eating from the dustbin in Nigeria. Children no longer have interest in education. Because you go to the university, you are not sure when you become a graduate because of constant strike and the lack of care in the universities. Some of them are not even worthy to be universities as at now because they don't have all it takes facilities that will make credit a university to become a certificate, a degree awarding institution. And that's why they only go there to do whatever they want to do. Even entering the university is a problem because of corruption. Where it shocks me so much is that these our leaders go out of Nigeria as a country to other developed, the ones we refer to as developed countries. And they come back and show nothing. In the health section, it's even the worst. We are here now because we have the money they are budgeting for power. Electricity is enormous, but we cannot utilize. You pay for darkness in Nigeria. And currently now, tell me how the leaders of a country will now decide to have a solar system that can give them electricity in only Aso Rock, the presidential villa. Why the citizenry are living in squalors, living in cubicles, living under the bridges.
Now, which is part of the reason, if I should come in, why most of the Nigerian citizens are
into crime.
Into crime, and some are, leaving the country
for greener pasture.
For greener pastures. And you said they are into crime, and they take this crime to other countries.
Yeah.
And if you should say, in a blueprint, Nigerians and South Africans, what do you think now about South Africa?
Yes, like I started, no country is worthy to be called a country when you have all these vices playing out. You have corruption, you have crime, you have hunger, you have lack of illiteracy. These things are not found in South Africa as a country. They are utilizing their resources to develop the country. Developing the country means developing the people.
Yes.
You cannot develop the infrastructures while the people are not properly developed. Their minds are into crime because they are hungry. A young man will grow from the age of accountability to an adulthood. You are still eating from your mother's kitchen because you don't have a job, no employment, and those who are even employed are underemployed, they are underpaid, and those who are paid are not paid as at when due. You see this corruption in the country as a cankerworm that has eaten deep into Nigeria leadership and governance. That nothing good is put in place. It is not like that. Somebody like Mandela, as my memory can capture, fought for independence for South Africans. When the whites were in power, Mandela was one of the resilient leaders and the activists that fought for the independence of South Africa. And Nigeria was watching. Nigerians were watching.
Okay, now, Grandma, let me come in now. There is, or there has been, a propaganda. I don't know if it is true. I call it a propaganda by Nigerians that during the time of apartheid, when South Africans, right, were fighting for their freedom and independence, that Nigeria supported them financially with huge sum of money. Is it true or false?
Supporting them financially.
And do you know that, okay, and to the greatest surprise of South Africans, the current generation of South Africans, they are standing on the ground that they have no history as such or record as such from Nigeria.
Well, we are Africans.
Okay.
No African country will be happy and comfortable when a fellow African country is facing crisis and disaster.
Okay.
So whichever way Nigeria or Nigerians have contributed to what South Africa is today, is just because of that concern that this is our country in Africa. We are all Africans.
Okay, in
the continent of Africa.
Okay.
We cannot sit and watch and see people who are not Africans to come and destroy our destiny and the destiny of our future generation.
Okay.
Even Mama Africa.
Was it financial contributions, or because from what I researched, it was, Nigerians harboring some of the South Africans, right? But I have not come to see where Nigerians contributed huge sum of money, which has been a major fracas between South Africans and Nigerians. Do you have any knowledge of that?
Like, if such a thing was possible, it could be in the history, but not made known to everybody. It's something that we can still research and find out. Like when it happened in Liberia, Nigeria sent troops to fight the Ecomog War. That could be a sort of support. Yeah. So, in such an issue, Nigeria contributed to the battle of freedom in South Africa.
Okay.
Just as a sister country in Africa.
Okay.
So it cannot be totally ruled out that Nigerians, we did not participate for what the freedom that South Africa had now, especially during the time of Mandela
and apartheid.
Yeah.
Okay, now let me hit the nail on the head again. Does this justify the act of Nigerian or other African immigrants into this country, South Africa, to commit or perpetrate crime, which is overburdening to them? And that has been my major concern and pain
It does not call for it.
Okay.
They say charity begins at home. You cannot give what you don't have.
Okay.
If a country that has migrated, the citizens must have migrated to another country, and you see them exhibiting criminality, it means they brought it from home. They say train up a child in the way he should go, and when he grows up, he will not depart. Is Nigeria crime free?
Not at all.
Nigeria is not crime free. And even with the trend of things now, 18 years, 20 years is into crime.
13 years.
13 years. We, as females in Nigeria, we are at war.
Vulnerable.
We are so vulnerable to this crime.
78 of teenage girls trafficked to Cote d'Ivoire, repatriated back.
Yes, they should repatriate them.
And this is not what we are talking about.
They should be repatriated.
And through the help of a very dark man and the Nigerian government, the good authorities, right? They have successfully brought them back to Nigeria.
Now the question is, you are sending them back to their country.
Okay.
What provision have you made to accommodate them, to harbor them, to make their lives comfortable
and easy? Because they left for the same reason of corruption and crime.
And hunger.
Hunger, insecurity.
Insecurity.
Okay.
And let me come into this area. The insecurity in Nigeria, to me, as a personal view, could be attributed to our governance.
Yes.
If a leader of a country sees like what is happening between the herders, the herdsmen and farmers,
yes,
this is a country that is crying for food.
Okay.
Hunger is everywhere on the land.
Yes.
And the people who are ready to go and farm, Nigeria is blessed with everything.
Humanly possible.
Human resources, agricultural, farmable lands, mineral resources, everything, and intelligence.
But they are using it for
But they have now changed the narrative to negativity.
Yes, change it to negativity.
Negativity utilization of their talents. People who manufactured aircraft, do they have two heads?
I wonder.
The camera we are using, people manufactured it. What are we manufacturing in Nigeria?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Crime.
Crime that now female human parts are now an essential commodity in Nigeria. Ritual killing is a common thing. It's no longer frowned at. Rounding up a community and shooting at random, even on the farm, animal destroying people's crops on the farm is not an issue. And we have leaders. And they are making budgets to cover these areas, especially in the lighting system. Yet, in the presidential villa, they cannot pay the NEPA bill. Now they are going solar.
Wow.
Where is the money budgeted for power? And nobody is asking questions.
And this is the major problem.
This is the major problem in Nigeria. Yes. If the resources God has endowed Nigeria with were to be given to another country, that country will become a London in Africa.
Just like other African countries.
Just like other African countries. Look at Ghana and South Africa.
I know they are not in their perfect state. They have their own challenges.
They have their own challenges, but it's not as pronounced.
And they are tackling it.
And they're tackling, their leaders are tackling it.
They are speaking up. Their citizens are speaking
against it. They are picking up. They are now doing something to show that they have all it takes to be a country. Remember last year when Kenya stood against corruption and bad governance.
Yes, it's rang a bell.
The youths were so resilient. If you want to kill us, kill us. We don't want all what they are demanded. The president came down
to their level
to address them, yes, and started implementing their demands. In Nigeria, is it the same?
Not at all. It's because, as a matter of fact, Nigerians are hypocritical and unrepentant. And this is why I think South Africans are protesting against illegal foreigners. If you don't know, let me highlight to you again. Currently, I recently discovered that Nigerians own houses. I have that video coming up. Look out for it. Own houses with illegality. in connection with part of their government, their system, and they take these houses that originally belongs to South Africans illegally through corruption and rent it out to the supposedly people who are supposed to be using the house free of charge in form of corruption, meaning that Nigerians have taken corruption down to South Africa.
Yeah.
They sell powder, they push drugs, which is the powder, kidnapping, banditing, all these things we are experiencing in Nigeria is now happening in South Africa.
The current news was that a woman was arrested at Port Harcourt International Airport with I don't know how many grams of cocaine she has swallowed. She has put in her private part and hiding some inside the corners of her handbags to take down to outside the country.
Who knows the country she's going to with all these things? And this is what we are saying.
And with her jab,
looking innocent.
Looking innocent and religious.
Imagine. You will
holier than thou.
You will never believe.
You will never believe that inside her, there's a cankerworm.
Anyways, I want you to give some words of encouragement to South Africans and words of advice and encouragement to Nigerians in all these things.
In all these things, we are one. Because we are all are from Africa. If someone like Barack Obama, with his origin from Africa, could rule America as a president, I see no reason why there should be a discrimination here in Africa, that you cannot stay in any of the African countries and feel safe and comfortable. It's always this tribalistic attitude saying that if you discover, any country discover that a particular country is importing crime into your country, you should react.
React and deal with them.
React and deal with them decisively and stop it.
Good.
This is what we lack in Nigeria. Our neighboring countries, we don't know where the killers are coming from. Majority of them cannot be Nigerians. Allegedly, some are coming from Niger Republic and other neighboring countries to kill Nigerians and impoverish them. And our leaders are not doing anything. I'm happy that in South Africa, they can take the bull by the horn.
In Ghana too.
And Ghana. And that's why you don't find this, no matter they have their own challenges,
of course,
but no, it's not as pronounced as what is happening in Nigeria.
They are taking stringent measures.
So if they decide to repatriate strangers that are constituting or prosecute them based on their own law and the crime they commit, it's okay. It's okay. Because you cannot stay and another person, an impostor, will enter your house and destroy your house. Will you live outside? And you cannot go to his house and live.
Of course. And you see, over here in Nigeria, we don't have such number of South Africans.
They don't travel because they are comfortable.
Hi.
Their leaders are providing what they need. Why will you go out and look for greener pasture?
Even if you want to go,
even if you want to, for other reasons, maybe for education, because you cannot have it all.
Of course, it's true.
So I'm telling them, South Africans, you are our brothers and sisters. Nigeria is also a country. We know when Mandela was fighting for this freedom, we were all united. We were all united. Some fought in terms of music. Somebody like Miriam Makeba.
Wow, you know them?
Yeah, Miriam Makeba is my mentor.
Wow, you're an OG.
Miriam Makeba, we call her Mama Africa.
Wow.
She's from South Africa.
Wow.
They fought for this freedom through music.
Wow.
And so many of them like that.
Wow.
Will I talk of Mandela?
Wow.
That faced a lot of crises.
Wow, challenges.
Challenges.
He's a hero.
And they became a hero.
Yeah.
From the prison to the presidency.
Wow. So
let us live as one. The countries in the West that we refer to as developed countries, they're living in unity, they're living in their own confinement. All of us travel to the countries and become whatever we want to become.
Yeah.
And they come to our Africa and do what they want to do. Yeah. So I see no reason why traveling to another country will become an issue, except for the sake of perpetuating crime.
And I think you should also see it from the point of view that Nigeria should not live on this mentality that we should all run out of the country. We should all leave the country. Yes. If everybody's leaving the country, all in this quest for greener pasture, who will stay back and fight the country, fight for the betterment of the country?
And let me shock you.
Okay.
You see this country? allegedly anyway, Nigeria has been sold for the next 30 years, 25 to 30 years. Why should we borrow money? Now the World Bank has come with their statistics that by 2027, Nigeria will go to the worst level of poverty. Why? Borrowing. The scripture says a borrower is a slave to the lender.
And I think, sorry to come in, that is why Nigeria is not standing up with the fight of Africans through Burkina Faso, the Sahel states, the UAEs against the colonizers.
Yeah.
Because they are like puppets.
That is it.
You have just exposed the fact.
That is it.
Because look at almost all the countries in Africa are standing as one formidable force against the colonizers, the real enemies in this fight through the youngest, wisest, and brave president of Ibrahim Traore of what? Burkina Faso. Now you see Nigeria missing in the act.
Missing in the act because they have already sold themselves or not.
Now it's exposed. Now it's exposed because of a truth. I need to talk more on this because it really hurts me a great deal. I've always been asking, people have been asking, where is Nigeria? Where is Nigeria in the scene? This is just the bitter truth.
Now,
you can't, call out people's crime when you are also into crime.
You are a stakeholder.
You're a stakeholder of crime. And you cannot spell things the way they are if at the end of the day you are indebted.
Guilty and you are indebted.
And guilty. That's the case, and that's the position of Nigeria.
That is the position
in the continent of Africa.
And the world.
And the world at large. So it is definitely, like you said, going to take a long time.
It's going to take a long time because the leaders today may not live up to 30 years or 25 years. That is natural.
Eventually.
They cannot live. And now the question is, who pays the debts?
Who pays the debts? Now, it lies in the hands of the people we're supposed to be calling the future of tomorrow, which are the youths that are not even in any position to be found. Look at the youth of today are 80% or 70% into crime, cyber crime, physical crime in terms of Fulani herdsmen,
Dabulica crime.
In fact, so the state of the country Nigeria lies in the arms of God knows how, God knows when. So it's a state of confusion, emergency, and I don't know how to even put it. But in a nutshell, this is the same thing that is affecting every other country in the continent of Africa because it's like a venom, a virus spreading anywhere you go. And that's what I've always said. I'm grateful and happy that I think we have somebody elderly, my mom, that has come to throw more light on this, because the point is that we will only get or start up a journey or a step when we begin to accept the truth for what it is, accept our reality for what it is before we think of solutions to it. Because Nigerians are still living in denials. There are people in this 21st century that are saying Nigeria is the best country.
You see, let me not cut it. Nigeria should have been the richest country in Africa.
With all it takes.
With all it takes, with all the endowments of nature. But they have sold themselves for naught because of greed and their corruption.
Anyways, let's not make this whole thing too lengthy because we have said a lot.
Right? Why should a liter of fuel cost the much we are buying it in the market when we have refineries? We have the natural endowment that could give us such products. And we have somebody they have sold Nigerian economy to, allegedly, Dangote, a refinery that can liberate themselves. Everybody wallowing in abject poverty. But South Africans have seen the way because they are learning from the mistakes of Nigeria. South Africa is learning. Their leaders are learning from the mistakes of our leaders. And they are correcting their own and pushing their countries forward. So if they come with the idea of pushing Nigerians and other strangers that are coming to corrupt their country, they are right. But they should do it with love.
Okay.
We don't want war in Africa.
Okay.
We don't want war in Africa. We are one.
Okay.
We are black race. Okay. We are struggling for economic emancipation.
Okay.
To come out from poverty. So that we will not be going to IMF, going to World Bank, and all the financial institutions worldwide to borrow money. In order to, if they are borrowing this money to develop the country and the citizenry, and you see the effect and the evidence, there's no problem. But in Nigeria, nothing. And we are suffering from hunger. I pray that Nigeria should change. What will change them invariably is God and nature. Because none of them can live more than 120 years. If they have sold Nigeria, hoping that when they will delete, exit. My grandchildren and your children will not pay the debt. Where God will send a Messiah to deliver Nigeria, as he sent a Messiah to deliver Ghana, as he sent a Messiah to deliver South Africa.
Yes.
This is what I'm leaving you people with.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right, Grandma. Thank you so much, guys. This is where we draw the line here. Like I said, once again, let's say a massive thank you to Grandma, at least for spending this time with us here. And let me know what you think. If you agree to disagree based on the points we've stated here, I told you earlier on, they are just impromptu, conversations we just decided to have. It wasn't pre-planned, and she's just giving her natural flow of opinions, reactions, and knowledge about what she knows. And this is not to take it personal. There are rooms for corrections constructively and respectfully. And if you did enjoy it, why not show appreciation by hitting on the like button? Share this video, like I said. Stay subscribed if this is the first time here, and let me know what you think. And in summary, I want to say we have heard it all. Time to time, if you like videos like this, do let me know in the comment section. I will bring in guests on here so that they share their views. I can even go as far as, like, fingers crossed, getting other people's opinion about these crises or issues, misunderstandings, because they are inevitable between countries in Africa. We cannot get a one Africa if we don't tackle our issues, know our shortcomings, our challenges, know our boundaries, learn to respect them
and correct them.
We can't. So we can't. So until we get these facts straight,
we'll still be answering third world countries.
Until we get this whole shit together, that's when we can say we have started. And it all boils down to if Nigerians are ready. Because as for other countries, to change, because the hypocrisy and non-repentant spirit in Nigerians, the pride, the arrogance, the disrespect, the crime is what I would always hit on. And that is it. I'm grateful and glad that we have someone else that has put or share her point of view, her opinion, as much as we still have reasonable, reputable, and crime-free citizens of Nigeria that think differently, just like my brother Chimdi. So today we have Grandma. Like I said, give this video a huge and a massive thumbs up, and appreciate her in the comment section in any way whatsoever by leaving your comments, your thoughts, and your opinion. Until then, keeping it real, happy, safe, and blessed, and we will see you in our next one. Bye.
I wish Africa were.
Yes.
I wish Africa were.
All right, you heard it.
We are going it.
Yes.
My future children.
Yes.
Grandchildren.
Yes.
You will make it.
Amen. Amen. This is the prayer of a mother. So shall it be in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you so much, guys, and stay blessed. God bless you. Bye.
Bye.